Do you want to make millions of dollars as a real estate agent? I was able to go from no business experience whatsoever, newly licensed in real estate in the worst market ever, the Great Recession. And I turned that real estate license and no sales experience in just a handful of years into over $3 million of gross commission income in a single year. And that year I worked 1 day a week, maybe 2 days a week when I was in town. So in today's video, I want to break down the 4 stages that I basically followed to have that happen. The first stage was, a first couple years in real estate where it was just me running and gunning. The second stage was bringing on an admin and a showing agent and doubling and tripling my sales. The third stage was, going from a couple of us to maybe a couple more people, more systems. I was able to delegate out of the things I didn't like about real estate. And then the fourth stage, I was able to sit in the owner seat, exit production completely. And then that was the year that I was able to achieve over $3 million of gross commission income. Stick around to the end of the video. You definitely want to learn what I would do differently if I had to go back in time. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the like button. That helps us with the algorithm. So let's get into it. So people ask me all the time, how did you go from a newly licensed agent to millions of dollars in a single year? And I will say that it took a lot of trial and error. I made all the mistakes you could possibly make. None of it was a straight line, but looking back, I was able to put the pieces together, and roughly it was about 4 different moments, or well, not moments, but different stages of growth. The first stage is just a busy solo agent, and the things that I had to focus on essentially were 1 lead generation source. It was home search leads at the time, and 1 script that I would use to call these home search leads. And then really just doing that over and over and over again, and time blocking 12 to 15 hours a week where I would focus on new business development. That's what it was all about in those early stages. I believe most agents aren't able to really scale their business or grow their sales because they don't focus on the things that makes them money. And in my first 10 months in real estate, I was able to do $250,000 gross commission income. And my first full year, so that was 10 months in 2007. My first full year was 2008, and I did 44 transactions. And I think it was like 325 to 350,000. And all I did that year was hire a first part-time, then very soon after that, became a full-time administrator. So wherever you are in your journey, you want to think about like, man, am I really doubling down on the things that are going to make me money? That's how you get out of that struggling or even top producer agent status. Because being a top producing agent, I was losing at home. I was winning in real estate, but I was losing at home. So that's the first stage. The second stage is bringing an administrator on, bringing on that first showing agent slash buyer's agent. I was able to go from 44 sides in 2008, that was my first full year, to 58 transactions in my second full year, and then 118 transactions in my third full year. That was 2010. So 2009, 2010, really all I did differently from 2008 was bring on additional support, a licensed administrator. She was local, she was amazing, and she was able to take everything off of my plate that wasn't dollar productive. And when I look at agents that are struggling, and really this is a struggle of top agents that are doing, 20, 25, 30 transactions. They're working every evening, every weekend. They're stressed out all the time about where the next deal is coming from, or they're worried about the deal that's blowing up, in front of them. And they're not able to grow and scale beyond that because they're not looking like at their business like it's a business. And at this stage, if you're wanting to grow even more, for me, it was 58 and 118 transactions. If you want to grow beyond that, it's all about systems. So that's the second stage. The third stage is, going from being in production myself. The year we did 118 transactions, I was able to do, I think I did about half of those transactions. I didn't show homes myself personally. I had a showing agent that did that. So I tried to not leave the office. I didn't work evenings and weekends too much in that time. But in order to get to the next stage, which for me was 178 in transactions in 2011 and 248 in 2012, that was all about me getting out of the buyer side of the business, and I essentially delegated those tasks and getting more administrative support. So all of the things that I was doing production related, I would get as much administrative support as possible. And these were folks, a listing, client care, a closing coordinator, a marketing coordinator, anything that I could get leverage around, I was getting leverage around. And really, I only added maybe a few more agents. During that time as well, I was able to exit production completely by hiring a listing partner, essentially to take over my production. I did all of this on the right economic model. And that's key, that you're not just giving away commission checks, right? It's called value-based commission split. So if you're in the part of your journey where you're like eyeballs, drowning in transactions, up to your eyeballs in transactions, and you're stressed all the time and you're building a team, it's likely that you need to delegate parts of production. First, get out of the buyer side of the business, get out of showings first, then buyers all together on the right economic model using value-based commission splits. And then ultimately, and man, this is heresy to even say it, for most team leaders, they're still holding on to production and they would never give up listings, right? But true freedom and the lifestyle benefits of doing this are, you couldn't even believe it. So that's the third stage. The fourth stage came for me in 2012. Let me see here. 2013 and 2014. I was able to go from, in the beginning, 7 days a week down to 5 days a week, down to 3, then 2 days per week. The year we did 312 transactions. I was able to exit production completely and really just sit in the sales manager role. But then I also elevated a couple key team members, one into a lead operator and one into a lead front stage or sales manager type role. And I got down to 2 days a week and then 1 day a week. In 2012, we went to 2013, 312 transactions, 2014, 453 transactions. And when I look at that stage, and I can only see this by looking back, I liken the year 2014 that we did 453 transactions. There were about 10 producing agents at that time. And it was the same things that I did when I sold 44 homes, right? That year, 2008, that I sold 44 homes, it was just me and a single administrator. And that administrator in those early days, she was my listing coordinator. She was my marketing coordinator. She was my closing coordinator. She would run signs or show homes or meet an inspector or pick up a check. I mean, she was my runner. She really did everything that was not like hyper and super high dollar productive activity. She would take all of that off my plate. And so no matter where you are in your journey, this ascension to business ownership is possible. And as I sit here now, it's a little easier for me to look back and think like, hey, if I were to do this again, what would I do differently? I would say the only thing, well, a couple things. I would, this is going to sound really bad, but I would have done it with a mindset of contribution and abundance, unless I was very triggered and selfish during those years because I was overwhelmed through much of it. I didn't have a roadmap. I didn't have a plan. I was coaching with different organizations, but none of them really had like an actual blueprint in order to build a business that gave you freedom so you could sit in the owner's seat in the business and not be overwhelmed. Like everyone I knew was still in production, even though they were building a team, and they were working like double duty. They weren't, experiencing any freedom of time or money or, enduring any less stress. And so I knew I didn't want that for myself. So looking back, I probably would have been a little bit more like trusting, having faith that it would work out well and not being so triggered and cranky. And that's one thing I would have done differently. One other thing I would have done differently is I probably would have taken care of my physical body. So my physical health, my spiritual health, and my mental health better. I was really just focused so much on the business. I would only have energy, especially in those early years where there were high growth years where I was failing forward and I was, just crazy all the time. I would have made sure I would slow down to really take care of my physical body. I pushed off workouts. I didn't eat the best that I could have eaten during some of those years. You're on the road and you're doing all the things and you're busy and you're like just bad habits when it came to physical health and diet and nutrition and work workouts and all of that. So that's what I would have done differently looking back. Luckily, I did it on the right economic model. I was able to achieve true time freedom, money freedom. My stress levels came down every stage of ascension during those all those growth years. At the end of it, Real Estate B School was born. So if you're at the point in your journey where you're wondering like if there is a next step, no matter where you are, we just launched a new program called our Business Foundations Case Study Program, where the whole goal of the program is to take any agent that's under 500,000 up to 500,000 and beyond. And if you're at 500,000, how do you get your next 500,000 gross commission income in a single year additional and not lose your life, not lose your mind in the process? So if that's you, click on the link in the description below or go to rebsgrowthassessment.com. The first step is a simple business growth assessment where we're going to look at your business, what's working now, what's not working, where do you want to be in the future, what's held you back, and what are obstacles that you're seeing. So go there now, REBS Growth Assessment, and we'll see you on the next video.